Hi everyone, this is HJ here. I decided to go ahead and do my follow-up review video on the Samsung Galaxy A15 5G. Now, if you guys didn't catch my last review video, which I released on Saturday, I went over some of the features this phone had and why you guys should not or should get this phone depending on the type of audience that you guys are in regards to who this phone is catering to. Now, if you guys want to pick this up, the pricing was not available on Samsung due to them not selling it directly, that it's being out of stock for, I think, the past, I want to say since I last checked it was this past week, Wednesday, maybe Thursday. And so if you guys want to buy this, you will have to get it from your carrier. And I would check with them for individual pricing, at least in the US, just to see how it's going to fare in terms of your wallet. But that all aside here, I think this is a really good phone. Now, I went over some of the drawbacks of this phone, one of them being the very weak chip and the below average brightness and performance when it comes to just scrolling around and doing heavy tasks as well as being able to use it outdoors. Now, what do I think about this device coming off of a full week and whatnot of having this device on hand? I have to say it's not my primary phone. I don't even really hardly use it that much. I mainly only just used it for this review, but it's got a little bit of some issues and I want to talk about that, especially with Android 15, because it just feels like this a little bit overbloated, and I think that might just be because, like I said, it's got a slower chip and all. And the problem that you run into when you have slower chips like this and you get new updates pushed to it, especially with Android 15 now on this, is sometimes it can be a problematic, especially when you're talking about having a chip that's not going to perform the same as something like an S24 Plus or an S25 or a Z Fold for that matter, or even a Motorola smartphone. Like, I don't really see, I take that back. I see why someone would want to get this if you're just going to do calls and text messages or just browse the web like I was suggesting in the last video, and you guys are not going to be using this for power tasks. Like, it's perfectly fine. I would say go ahead and get it. But if you're a power user who really needs that, I'm a strong man in their phone, like I'm a big muscular strong man like Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or a football player strongman, like that kind of power in your phone, I would say kind of look elsewhere, because this is not going to be it for you, especially given the fact that, like I said, this phone runs on a slower MediaTek Dimensity 6100 Plus, depending on the model that you get. But for the 5G, I believe it starts at the 6100 Plus. So it's really not a high-end or even mid-range processor. Now, typically if you buy like something like, say, an A50 series smartphone or an A70 series smartphone, you'd get Samsung's Exynos processor, which is generally middle of the pack when it comes to results. But if you're getting something like this, you're going to get a cheaper MediaTek processor, or even worse. And if you're getting a flagship phone like my primary phone, which I never find that I'm using it to record right now, but it's basically got the Snapdragon 8 and the newer ones I believe have, I think it has a newer 8 Elite chip for the new phones, and for the new tablets, it's got a higher end MediaTek, which is really high end. So it's something like this is going to fall at the bottom when it compares to those. And as far as like I said, doing your power task, it's gonna struggle. I know, it's kind of a bummer. I wish they would have done more. I wish they would have given us a little bit more, especially for what you're getting here. But with the price point, I can understand why they cheaped out just a little bit. I mean, I get it. It makes sense, especially because they don't want to cut into sales of their larger big name smartphones. And it's also because, well, you're paying less, so therefore you get less. And I mean, that's with any business or any tech store, anybody really. The point is, you're paying, like I said, you're paying less and you're getting less, because that's the way that any business would operate. Because you pay less, you don't get the most flashy features. So my point with that is to say this: if you're gonna get this phone, only have the mindset that you're only going to do the bare minimum. Don't have the mindset that you're going to be doing every single blazing fast task. It's just not going to cut it. It's not going to do that at all. Like, you'd be lucky if you could run COD on medium settings. I promise you that. And if you're a competitive COD player, you wouldn't buy this phone anyway. You buy something like a maxed out iPhone or a Samsung, like a higher end Samsung, or you buy a really expensive Motorola, or just get the phone that gamers get, which is the ROG Phone 9 Pro edition, whatever they want to call it, and just game on that, for example. Or you can get a tablet. I mean, gaming on a tablet has gotten better too in the recent years, and I'm really impressed with that. So it's really just about who this phone is for. So who do I think this phone is for? I think it's for kids, first off, because if you have kids, you know, having the bare minimum for them, or they can watch your kids' videos and, you know, do phone calls and stuff if there's an emergency or something, that's fine. Like, this is perfect for them, because, you know, what is a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid gonna do besides watch Minecraft videos and probably play a little bit of Roblox, maybe some Minecraft, and maybe call their parents when they're at or their grandparents if they're away from the house for a bit, or if there's an emergency at school, they forgot their lunch, you know, something that I'm sure a lot of people have had to deal with. You know, this will be good for them because it's out of the box, is pretty easy to use. It's a bare bones smartphone, but they don't have to worry about, you know, like trying to set up a dozen different things. Or maybe you've got that one grandparent who's like, maybe the OLED screen on the flagship phone with the blue light and the PWM flicker, depending on if they use that on that smartphone, might bother their eyes. You might get them this phone because it doesn't have the OLED display, so you don't have to worry about their vision getting worse. I'm trying to explain this without coming off the wrong way, but you get the gist. It's really mainly for those groups. And I can see maybe if you have a college student who is on low income and can't afford to get a flagship smartphone and they're away at a school on a scholarship or Pell Grant, then perhaps maybe this will be for them too. So what do you guys think about this A15? Let me know in the comments down below. Tried my best to explain it the best I could. I think it held up well. I mean, it's fine. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. I'm HJ. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. And if you guys have not already, I'm leaving a link to my Destiny 2 video that just came out down below, so you guys can check that out for yourselves. Until next time, bye-bye.